This illustration represents the railway system of Dubai. It follows a linear path, closely tracking along the principal arterial roadway, Sheikh Zayed Road. For residents not living near this line and without personal transportation, the only option is to hail a taxi to the closest bus stop, then board a bus to reach the subway, which doesn't even service areas with a high density of families or educational institutions. You might be assuming that Dubai is designed with an automobile-centric lifestyle in mind, given the city's infrastructural layout, which is somewhat accurate since Dubai boasts nearly 2 million cars. However, the surprising aspect is the discrepancy between the number of cars and the available parking slots, which are less than 200,000. This imbalance doesn't explain or justify the poorly structured public transportation system, but instead points to a more significant issue: disastrous planning. Dubai's city planning and architecture leave much to be desired, and the reasons behind certain decisions are puzzling. Even if the city was designed primarily to cater to tourists, rather than its 3.5 million residents, comparing it with other cities that host a similar number of tourists annually, like Singapore or New York, highlights the striking difference. The most efficient way to traverse these cities is through their public transport system. Certainly, the extreme weather conditions in Dubai must have heavily influenced its urban design, making bicycle-friendly paths an impractical choice. However, it's noteworthy that cities with harsh climates, like Montreal, have successfully adopted subterranean, climate-controlled infrastructure. What confounds me is how, instead of addressing these internal urban issues, the city's decision-makers channel funds into arguably futile ventures, such as these artificially created islands, epitomizing poor design. In Dubai, land reclamation couldn't be achieved using desert sand due to the large grain size. Consequently, they opted to extract sand from the seabed, resulting in the destruction of marine ecosystems like coral reefs and turtle nesting sites. This approach, in my view, is utterly reckless. The absurdities continue when we consider the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. You might be shocked to learn that this towering structure, along with many other glittering skyscrapers, is devoid of a connection to a sewage system. The reason? The city lacks a centralized sewage system. Thus, waste disposal trucks are seen lining up the streets thrice weekly to manage waste disposal. Further compounding this chaos is the fact that the city's construction is primarily undertaken by immigrant workers, mainly from India and Pakistan. These individuals are often lured with the promise of improved living conditions, only to find themselves confined in labor camps at the city's periphery. With their travel documents often seized, they are subjected to grueling 12-hour shifts 7 days a week, working for barely survivable wages to construct this monstrous metropolis. When I commenced my research for this video, I was oblivious to the grim reality beneath Dubai's gleaming facade and towering skyscrapers, which are not particularly tourist attractions. It sheds light on the fundamental flaws in Dubai's design, as envisaged by its creators. The underlying issues with Dubai's design can be attributed primarily to two factors: the structuring of property development rights and the efficiency of resource allocation. I'll break this down for better understanding. Dubai, due to its geographical location, was always a central trading hub. The discovery of oil in 1966 elevated its financial standing, as oil revenues accounted for 60% of Dubai's GDP at its zenith. However, the ruling monarchy, aware of the finite nature of this resource, decided to diversify their economy, focusing on tourism and real estate. Foreign developers, often in collaboration with a local owner or corporate entity, were invited to lease land and develop properties on a tight timeline, with the goal of recuperating their investments quickly. Under such circumstances, developers have two main priorities. Firstly, to optimize the total sellable floor area, which often necessitates constructing as tall a structure as budget permits. Secondly, to complete and sell the property before the lease expires. This approach has led to the creation of numerous skyscrapers, each a standalone entity with little to no central planning. As a result, Dubai has gained an image of a city lacking in character or soul. Furthermore, given Dubai's desert environment, resources are scarce. A staggering 90% of its food is imported. Efficient distribution of such limited resources to a large population necessitates considerable infrastructure development, which means constructing more roads, terminals, trucks, and warehouses, plus their ongoing maintenance. This would result in significant government expenditure. However, why bear such costs when the groundwork can be delegated to the private sector? Essentially, Dubai was envisioned as a grand showcase, where grandiosity and opulence were prioritized by the monarchy to attract investment, with urban planning often overlooked.